Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here with Aisha Comics, with of course our chief editor-in-chief in Aisha Comics, Mr. 𝗵𝗲𝗶𝗰, and a great guest, Mr. Richard T. Wilson.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody, QR code, his QR code here. Get to know Mr. Richard T. Wilson in his website. Just to clarify, his website is again, Mr. Wilson, please mention it again.
rtwfilms.com, which is
beautiful rtfilms.wfilms.com. You can learn everything about him and his experience and his knowledge, because we love knowledge. We love people's experiences, especially in the fields and the verticals that we're trying to explore as a company. So with further ado, Mr.
Yes,
Wilson,
sir.
How's your day? How's your life been this week?
My day is weird because, I had to go see a hematologist. So, you know what I mean? I nearly died back in November, which literally. So it's been a rough couple months.
Teach us what the hematologist is. I mean,
that's the guy who just checks your blood.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I've been I'm 60. Okay. I did not expect this to happen to me at 60. I basically got an embolism in my chest, shut my kidneys down, nearly croaked back in November. I was touch and go.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been real fun. So, and then I've got cancer. I've got to get taken out of the kidney now. So I'm in great. I feel great.
Wow.
But I'm like, shit, man. But
side point. Since you opened up with that, I want to learn a little bit about this, because obviously you're learning. Sure. You're going to go through a study. You're learning how to make yourself healthy. And in reality, when you create graphic novels, write books, and all these things, you got to be healthy, because we're literally sitting down most of the time, right?
Oh yeah,
not necessarily.
Right, and I used to be an exercise guy. I don't mean go to the gym, but I used to have really expensive machines and all that crap and all that. It all broke. So I decided to stop spending $50 million fucking dollars on these machines that would eventually, after 6 months, fall apart. So then I would get, in more inexpensive things. They'd last just as long, but they will also, and I just got sick and tired. I got sick and tired of you should exercise. That's what you should do. And I'm like, who are you? You know what I mean? And I said, nah, I don't feel like doing it anymore. So I just stopped. I try and eat healthy. But I hate the idea of being, you should do this. You know what I mean? When I know it's good for you and all that crap. But I did it for years and years. And I feel like I'm being like I'm in school. Now it's time to pull the thing out. And now we got to do this because, your teacher said. So no, for me, I feel like I'm writing clearer and better now with all this stuff going on. I said that to him, like we were talking last year. I said with all that was going on with COVID, I was having a lot of problems, but I was writing pretty good. A lot of stuff was really coming out, and this new book was written kind of in the thick of COVID, Halloween Girl, Gods and Monsters.
Wow.
And there's a lot of, that's probably the most horror you're going to get out of me. You know what I mean? Because, I tend to swerve and go in all these different directions, but there's a lot of, I felt the nightmare kind of the whole thing as I was writing that. So I'm really, really proud. And the artist I have, the Shiad R, is just, this guy's amazing. I just want to sing his praises while I have a chance. He is,
no doubt,
just the most emotional artist I've ever worked with. As far as it all comes out in every little panel, and he takes forever to he gets everything done, but he is very particular and everything looks beautiful. So can't wait to share that. That'll be next month, I think.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's really beautifully stylized, Benny, and it's done in black and whites, and it's where it's got a lot of vibe and shading and realism type stuff to it.
Right. That's what I love. That that goes back to BL. I want to talk about my love of old Warren, eerie, creepy, and all that stuff from the early 70s. My mom bought me a 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗰, and she fortunately did not look at inside in the supermarket when I was 8, and I took it home, and mine was blown. Some of the artists in there were just, Luis Garcia was the name of the one guy, and he just blew my freaking mind.
Wow.
Because it was a lot like Shiad's art. It's very, almost like photorealistic, but it kind of like it's on the line. So I'm excited. The book's finally coming out. Again, I've just been working on short stories. I submitted the other day to Shudder. So I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
No doubt, no doubt. Listen, I just want to mention, you said you were 60 years old. Listen, that's still young. I mean, we live in a time that is young.
I know.
We're
I
out.
said the same thing, but I said I didn't expect to have like basically be one of those people that quickly. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. That's because we feel that we're young. I mean, we are young. We're outliving double ages from the previous 100 years and back. Yeah. I mean, the average age was what, 45, 50?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But we are outliving.
My wife had not called, and I told her not to call. I said, I'm fine. She goes, you don't sound right. You're coughing funny. I said, I'm fine. You're going to make a big deal. I said, I'm going to be so pissed if you could save my life.
Right.
So that's why she's.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into personal, but I apologize if I ask too many questions.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's true though. I mean, I think the only reason I bounced back or whatever, according to what they were saying, is because you were already a fairly healthy guy. So.
Oh wow.
So that's the reason, because they said you don't look like you look on the paper. You know what I mean? So I said, well, I guess
that's always a good thing. That means all that exercise helped a lot.
Be dead. So But so what do you guys up? I mean, I want to hear more about the Shook thing. I want to hear about what's going on.
Oh wow! So iShook is
your post the other day.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, iShook is about creating ability to create products in the tech space that lets individuals like you, like Ben, like me, get our art and our products out there, with higher discoverability aspects. I mean, remember one thing: a lot of these companies like Facebook and all these social media companies, it's really hard to get discovered because the algorithms are geared a certain way. So in my perspective, I'm like, one second, we haven't created an algorithm as big as theirs, right. But we are working on an algorithm, of course. We have a spectrum list of different products. We are now dabbling in our own comic and graphic design, but at the same graphic novels. But at the same, we're also taking my IP and we're expanding it to video games, Roblox, and others like great. Fortnite. Yeah, we also want to create maybe like a collaborative social media concept where we get like individuals like you and your characters. Like, can we license your character? We put in our video game, things like that.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah, we want to do that with everyone who comes on iShook. Let me finish my point. You asked me my question. Let me answer my question. Let me answer the question. Let me answer the question.
Okay, go
All right, and then obviously the whole point and what we want to be is become the biggest aggregator platform, which basically means we take all the best products, right? We're creating our own AI logic as well. We're taking all the best products, creating a uniform lacing between social media communications, between the YouTube kind of communications, which is iShook.tv, kind of interlacing them all together with AI usage, overseeing it with blockchain, data stamping, and things like that. I mean, I'm talking very general, but we do have a white paper that's coming out. It's going to be called iShook 2.0 white paper.
That's
fantastic. Yeah, because people want to be able to discover. People want to discover. Like, I want to discover you. I can only discover you because of Ben. Now, imagine if Ben had a profile.
It's hard, like you said. It's just really difficult to get out there, and
very difficult.
You can get investment from Kickstarter or wherever you're going to get investment from. It's not going to be, even that is still hard to get a larger audience. I mean, it's just
so what we're doing in crypto, we want to use our cryptocurrency, our own tokens, where you get invested through our cryptocurrency network. And actually give back. So let's say a person invests in your product, right?
Right.
So they buy, let's say, X amount of cryptocurrency, okay, to support your product. We say, okay, this is our list of peoples. We're doing Q1 to support them. How much can you fund this crypto? Here's a block of these amount of tokens that we have. Fund this token. Right now, there's a new product that we're launching very soon.
Right.
And then if they start investing in that product, then you take let's say 100 comics, right? Graphic novelists. Now, all those 100 are for sure going to make, as a macro aspect, they're going to make profit. They might not make profit at an individual level, but they'll make profit at a macro level. So if, let's say, I have 100, the 100 will make profit, we take 20% of that profit and do a buyback on those investments. So therefore, those cryptocurrency individuals have a how do you say, more of a net trade that guarantees return on their trade. So as opposed to trading and then, okay, where does the money go? It becomes a constant trading and it loses. But here we're actually tokenizing investments for graphic novels. And then, you know, but we need individuals like you to say, yeah, Benny, we're going to try it once or twice. Because remember, you'll fail 3-4 times till we actually say, oh, wow, we just beat Kickstarter. We beat all these companies, because you're now getting a way to guarantee a person's, you know, profit back. So there's got to be some sort of profit allocation. So we're working on all that. It's going to be Q2, Q3. There's a lot of ideas that we're planning. This is like an introduction. Because you asked, I'm just launching it.
No, I think it's really cool. And it's like, are you going to, I mean, you're talking about a bunch of different things with video games and things like that. But are you thinking about like a flagship kind of anthology type thing with different people?
Yeah. You know, right now, just to give you a small heads up, we're creating a how do we say it, like a battle royale in an arena.
Okay.
And people can pick their characters pick their characters, let's say weaponry, and kind of mix and match the characters' powers. And it's going to be continuously evolving. And obviously we want to be able to take, let's say you have a character, we put on the Roblox, kids can actually buy that character. And then we do a profit sharing on those. You say
like Marvel Rivals, that kind of.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily like Marvel Rivals, because I'll tell you why. Because what's going to happen is that what's beautiful about Roblox is you can create one scene of a game, and then interlace it with 100 different types of games. I mean, we can have them going through a portal. It's more like we're trying to make it more like World of Warcraft. Where World of Warcraft is this huge server that has so many players in there, and there's so many like islands, and there's so many. It's like a full universe. If you go to World of Warcraft,
like Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is not as robust as World of Warcraft. Yeah, but it's World of Warcraft is bigger. World of Warcraft is much bigger.
But I'm talking about like a variety of characters from different universes.
Oh yeah. But World of Warcraft does the same thing. Fortnite does the same thing.
Do they?
Yeah, of course. And then you have I mean, Star Trek is really only in the Star Trek universe, but they have the same thing in the Star Trek Online, which when it came out.
So do they have like Cyberpunk and World of Warcraft?
No, they only do that in Fortnite. Okay. Because in Fortnite you can create your own video games in Fortnite. We're doing also Fortnite, but that's probably going to be Q4 or next year, 2026.
Incidentally, Benny, Halloween Girl, she's already dead. She's a ghost. She likes to help people. He's got some really cool content with that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
the Netherworld and other things, but she's always doing good. She died on Halloween. That's how she got the name.
That's awesome. That's what I love the characters. I mean, I have to sit down one day and all those who we interviewed, I got to just buy every product that they made.
I'll send you copies. You know, just let me know. Just drop me an email.
Yeah, sure.
I especially now that Benny, I told you last year I might have mentioned I wrote 4, and I was looking at the 4th after I don't know, a couple months ago, and it's just kind of, it's not bad, but I think the themes that I'm trying to talk about, which is how people in the 3rd book, about how people psychically influence things and don't even realize it. But I wound up repeating the theme, I realized, when I went back to read this book that I thought was so wonderful for about 2 years. And I said, no, it's the same thing. But that's one of the things I'm excited about with this book. This is the hollow's been beaten, we think, and now we have Splinter, the evil Splinter group starting. They need to follow somebody else now, and they find this kid who's abused. They're just these little spiders. They come in, and then they decide, well, we're going to worship him. You know what I mean? And so they do everything for this little 8-year-old kid, whether he wants it done or not. I mean, kids are killed. It's pretty, if he's bullied, that's the end of that kid. You know what I mean? And it's just, and it happens.
I'm loving this.
So it's very, there's a lot of, it talks about a lot of violence, a terrible father who's basically also a murderer that, murdered the first wife. But so I had the 4 books, but I'm not going to go with the 4th. It's just repetitive. So it's been 10 years of Halloween Girl, starting with the film. We made the film 10 years ago this March, April. And I think that's the reason I've been writing short stories, like with 𝗪𝗏𝗃, the anthology, and just recently the stuff I sent to Shudder. I've just I love her to death, but I've spent 10 years, you know what I mean? Just like it's been Halloween Girl, like constantly. And I think I'm going through a little break, but I'll definitely be back with other stories. But I kind of wanted to write some classic shorts, you know, just some classic Warren style 𝗔𝗍 Comics shorts. So that's what I took some time to do. Oh, that's Charlotte Martin. She actually did the song. She's the one I named Charlotte after, and she recorded a song all about the comic. So that's a cool song out there. That's on Bandcamp. Yeah.
Is that the YouTube or?
Bandcamp, you can just look up bandcamp.com. I don't know whether it's on YouTube. I don't know where she put it there or not.
Oh, but what is this YouTube? Let's say if I press play, what is it about?
That's actually I animated some of the new book.
Let's check it out.
That's him.
Sorry, did we lose sound?
No, only because you muted it.
Oh,
or I mean, froze it. It's like pause.
Yeah, it stopped. I apologize.
It's inferior art.
That did really well. So I'm really proud of that book.
Yeah, that looks really good, by the way. It's very detailed. Very detailed.
Yeah, I worked with 2 artists on that. 𝗵𝗲𝗄, who I worked with on a couple things, and Shiad R, who's doing the whole thing for the new Halloween Girl book. So
wow.
So he's pretty amazing. But yeah, we've done well as far as the people who've read the books, who've seen the books, they've embraced them. We've been in some film festivals too, where we won, like the Philip Dick Film Festival. We won there, and then you know, so and some other things. But I kind of send to the film festivals because my goal is it would still be great to have it as a limited series of some kind. So you know.
And who do you think will pick up such a limited series?
Well, we don't know. We got picked up by. We've had interest from the time we put it out, as far as pitching goes. It's not that. We've had people from the time the first film or book was done and all that stuff. We just got picked up by in the New Media Festival in California, where basically the whole thing is about finding new IPs. And so all the big guys are out there, and they're, you know, they turn it into a festival. It's mostly films, but they really also want to look at graphic novels, and they've got about 6. And
that's interesting. So we had many. So sorry to cut you off because it's very important. We had many podcasts that we discussed with many individuals where the big players are not. The complaint is that big players are not looking at the new IPs and literally butchering the old IPs.
Right. Yes, exactly.
But now you're telling me that they have this festival where
Yep.
big players are now looking for new IPs.
Yeah.
So they're seeing their error in their ways. I mean, did you notice then there's a new I forgot who the podcaster is. She's a very famous young girl kicked out of Daily Wire. I forgot her name again, but I follow her, subscribe to her. But she says something very interesting, that Captain America, the new Captain America, is against America. Then how do you have the title Captain America?
Yeah. I mean, I'm disgusted with the whole thing, but I've been saying that since the 90s. As far as you know, I mean, we've been rebooting shit since God knows how long, late 80s into the 90s. I mean, so I mean, nobody wants to really spend any money on anything new. But I will say, did you guys hear about the new Buffy?
Yeah, that's being remade, and she's going to be in it, which is good.
Which is good, along with this other thing. It was out last year. It was something to do with a high school, called Teen Spirits or some.
Okay.
Did you like the Buffy movie?
What's that?
Did you like the Buffy movie? Not the series, the movie.
You know, I still haven't seen the whole thing. I only see it when it comes on TV. Like if it's, you know, and I thought it was fun because I like to laugh. Because I think.
What do you mean, the first Buffy, the movie before the show?
I thought Paul Rubin was great.
Yeah, Pee-wee was in that. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Right. I didn't see the whole thing, but what I saw was fun. I mean, I like, you know.
Buffy the movie.
Like horror, so you know, so.
Didn't that come in the 80s? I think, but that movie was,
wasn't it?
It was either like it was like right on the cusp. I think it might have been 1990 or what. You know,
let me check.
Came out, and then the series came out a couple of years later.
Yeah. Because they said, "Is it like the movie?" And they're like, "Nah, it's because it was."
But the movie was more like a comedy kind of.
Yeah, the movie was silly and all that.
Yeah, it was like this rom-com.
Yeah, I mean, the movie looked like it was like
92.
What I think just looked like it was just like fun. You know what I mean? Like, you know, kind of campy and fun. You know, but no, I just. Yeah,
it was 92.
Was it 92? Okay?
92 right here. 92. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so so that and then this other series, Teen Spirits, something like that, was, I don't know what channel that's on, what, Netflix or something. But
but they also the Fresh Prince, but the Fresh Prince also did a reboot. It didn't really go well.
Seriously?
No,
I didn't even know about this.
See, that's exactly my point.
Yeah. Well, my point is, Stranger Things is finally coming back, and I'm hoping. Because what's happened is some of the people I pitched and said we're already doing something similar. You're going to get picked up, but we're and so I'm thinking, you know, so if we're entering this, you know, period of a lot of teen, you know, ghost hunters, whatever, you know, maybe we have a shot at this next media. I think it's called festival. You should see. God, I wish I had stuff in front of me.
I think we can do another podcast, and we probably
I'm excited to go. It's going to take place in the first couple days in first week in June or whatever. So I'm really like really psyched to go. I mean, we'll see, but I that's the reason I submit there, because I really want to. I know it's like 1 in a million, but I still believe in pitching it. I still think it's a great show. I think it would be.
Listen, keep on pitching it. But I do know there's a trend, by the way, in the business world, that if they have one comic or one IP, they don't want to do a similar IP, which I think is a mistake.
Right.
Because it's not being that theory or that ideology of business is not being spread to, let's say, the anime world or the manga world or the comic world, right?
Right.
Like you have Dragon Ball Z, and guess what? Dragon Ball Z is similar to Naruto, similar to One Piece, and they're still releasing it because the storylines might be different, but the idea is there. You know, getting stronger, becoming strong, fighting the bad guys, whatever it is, having this adventure, this journey, so on and so forth. But I think what the problem is, where it comes to. See, I think the main thing is that these IPs that are happening now, they're not making profit like you think anymore. So the profits are not based on sales of a movie or whatever it is. The profits are on subscriptions.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, and really, what you wonder how much money anybody's making because I'm sure you guys read all about it a couple of years ago. Netflix wasn't making shit.
Yeah, they weren't.
You
They were losing a
weren't
lot of money,
making
but
a
now they're
damn
winning a
thing.
lot. But
They were
now
the
they're winning
biggest.
a lot.
Yeah, and I mean that makes you wonder. But I I'm a very, I don't want to use the word content bothers me a little bit because I'm not, but I'm extremely happy with everything that has happened in my career and all that. So I don't want to be that person that says they've got to have this thing. I don't want I just want it to, I know it would work. That's what I'm saying is I just know it would work and I would love more people to see it. But that's it. You know what I mean? I could disappear. I don't, you know what I mean? I would just love for the fact that it was spread out there and that the universe was opened up.
Right.
And you could see the universe opened up just in the first book because that's the longest one we have. The second one's an origin piece, and the third one we're back to craziness. I mean,
I really liked when she encountered her mom, that I'm not going to say anything else about, but I did like the dynamic and everything that went there, and all the resolution.
Right.
I thought it was good, like delving into her personal character and who she was before she died and how people were and how things went.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that because I mean, I told you at the time, I said, people, we put out the first book, I just dove in and figured, oh yeah, people will figure it out. They'll look at the film. What am I thinking? And that's why I stopped and did the origin story for the second book. And I'm really glad I did because people have said that. I'm really glad you did that because now I know where the hell she comes from. I know what her
Right.
deal is. So
it adds depth to it. It's got like layers of stuff.
I mean, between you and me, my IP Super Black. I told Ben we got to write a novel as well. We can't just keep it with a graphic novel.
But you guys, let me. You say it so easily. I would love to write a novel. I can't write a novel. I've sat down a million times. I do scripts. You know what I mean? I just sit down to write a novel and I get completely lost. Can I do scripts?
You do a lot more than that. You've made movies and everything, man.
Yeah, but I mean, they're scripts. They're scripts, man. I just don't feel. I mean, it's funny you're saying that because I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll try again to write a novel.
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, so I want to give you a shtick, okay?
Yeah.
And this is Ben also. We did the same thing. We're not going to disclose who's writing our novel yet, okay? But we have a good person writing the novel. I've been a little bit, out of commission for a month and a half. I'm not the same energy that I've been for a year and a half already. There was like a stupid virus with New York that came. Yeah, so I got sick, fatigued, trying to get out of it, getting more and more back to my energetic self. But anyway, so when I did podcasts, I started my Rabbi Benny podcast, right? So I bring people to my synagogue. We have a good podcast, good discussion, specific people I invite, right? It's a different type of form than a podcast like here or iShook Daily or so on and so forth.
Right.
And what I learned is, okay, let me start editing these podcasts. I'm like, no, I can't edit. I spent hours, like 20 hours trying to edit the podcast. I'm like, no. I threw something in Upwork, shout out to Upwork. I'm going to put the affiliate program with Upwork for us there. And I got a person to do the edit.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Ben said, Benny, he comes to me honestly, he says, I can't do the novel. Not that he can't do a novel.
I've written like 7 of them, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's just about, what can you do now? What's the skill set now? What is the time consumption now? And he says, okay, let's get this person a novel. That person said, yeah. And he writes novels. You get it?
Right.
So what I think you should do, write a script of a movie or a series. Then we find a guy for you to say, listen, take this script now, write a novel for us. And that's it.
True. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be cool if that happened? And there's everybody on Fiverr. You can get somebody to do that. You know what I mean? If you like,
I get hit up. By the way, I'm sorry to cut you off again. I get help on LinkedIn every day for ghostwriters, and there's nothing wrong with a ghostwriter.
Yeah, oh no, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm going to give it. I think it's a great idea. It's a question of finding somebody, just like finding the artist that you're going to work with on a piece. It's got to be somebody that connects with
with your IP, of course.
I mean, I'm not somebody who like, you know, when, oh, here we go, and I'm picking at this and that. I'm not at all. To me, it's like, you know, I didn't marry to change you. I chose you because I looked at all your work and I said, this guy has the stuff to bring to this. And then I stay out of it. And I did that as a director. I would go cast actors and I could feel who was going to be right. And I knew that they could be directed in that. And then so take the same thing with the artists. Like, I know you could do that. It would be the same thing with a writer. It would be, look, where are you coming from? Because, I mean, let's face it, there's some awful stuff out there.
Yeah.
On the
I mean, James Gunn himself, him as a director now going to the DC universe, DC universe, and you see he's doing a whole change up, and I like his change up. He's coming back to the original, you know, gravitas of those characters and what they are, what they bring, their magnetism, their majestic, you know, personas that we all grew up in. Right. Again, because the way I look at these comics and movies were originally meant for easy distribution of morals and ideologies, like goodness to people.
I totally agree, and it's funny. I was thinking the same thing about some of the shows that were on when I was really little, like Ultraman or something, you know. And it was all that, you know, it was all, you know, Ultraman was, you know, the savior. It's going to come down. It's going to save everybody. Okay, you did your best. I'm coming down. I'm going to whoop some ass, and, you know, bye-bye. I'll be back next week. You know, it had that feeling of just, it made a kid feel like, oh God, oh good, I'm as if I would believe that there was an Ultraman in the world. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it gave you like
every show, by the way, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Right.
Before reality television came in, there was always a lesson learned at the end of the show.
Right.
Always.
And I thought that was really important. And I think, I'm not saying that it's missing for younger kids, like for preschoolers. Of course, I'm way out of that. But my daughter's generation, they had great stuff. They had terrific stuff to grow up with. I was actually kind of, I mean, we had good stuff too, but they had all that. I don't know that it goes much higher than that.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it does. I think now in social media it goes there, where parents are creating clips with you know, like real moral, you know. But again, it's I think it's diluted and it's lost in the enormous amount of content that's there. It's not. It's like you can't filter. Let me learn the lesson here. You know, like it doesn't.
Yeah, it's one of the things that also happened. I'm good. Yes,
I was He-Man. It was He-Man and Ghostbusters. And all that. Even though I stand by that the greatest cartoon of all time, fight me if you want to do this, Benny, Johnny Quest. And I'm talking about
Johnny Quest is very good. Yeah, no, Johnny Quest actually was good.
I love Johnny Quest. Oh,
Johnny Quest was actually very good.
Johnny Quest. Oh, just look, I love Johnny Quest. That's awesome.
We have the DVD with all of the episodes on it. And I told my wife, I said, this is the best cartoon that was ever made. And she sat there and watched the whole thing with me. And she said, that is the best cartoon ever made.
It's true. Right. And it was on prime time when I was like a toddler. Prime time it was on. So the cartoon was never on prime time. And it was, I thought the show was great. I was a huge fan.
I mean, Batman was also, the 90s Batman cartoon was very good too. It was very based on moral code of Batman, no use of guns. I mean, what kind of message can you get of not using guns than that Batman show?
Exactly. My nephew, who, you know, he's, you know, like I said, he's in his 20s, he's mid-20s. He loved that Batman cartoon from the 90s. He thought that was terrific. So,
right. But it's so terrific they're remaking the style, right? The new Batman.
I mean, how many times can we do this? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, I mean, like that's the thing that gets me. I mean, I get trying different things, but I mean, you know, it's kind of like what we were saying before. Like, let's get some new characters going. You know, let's get some new, you know.
No, we need new IP. We need new IP. Listen, I'll be honest with you. We have iShookComics.com, iShookComics.com. We want to get as many individuals willing for us to resell their products. No doubt about it. Their IPs.
Sure, I'd be
great. Like a profile page for them as well. You know, we want to definitely do that. But yeah, I mean, I think today for successful IPs, we need to do some sort of collaborative social media collaborative push of the IP. Because what's happening now is these IPs, and I see this there's so much IP available to create crazy content. Daniel, by the way, Baldwin, who's head of our iShook Productions team, he said multiple times something very smart. He said these Netflixes, these Amazons, all these subscription-based models, right? How many people can really afford that in the United States?
The problem. You can. I mean, I look, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a million shows out there that are interesting. I'd like to check that out. And yeah, you might get to see the first show free, but you can't afford to sign up for another channel, yet another channel.
Right. And then you lose the following. You lose the potential following. You lose that eyeball. You lose that eyeball because you put a price on a price tag. It's not. See what people are losing. I'm sorry. I'm just going to mention this point, Ben, and then I'll give it to you. I'll give you the floor. What people are missing when you had prime time television, it was for free with the commercial. Now that we're veering off to digital media and digital online, guess what happens? You lose it because everything becomes a subscription model now. So it becomes like pay-per-view. Who could afford pay-per-view unless your parents had money in the 90s?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, right.
Like,
right. We didn't have pay-per-view.
I never had, for sure not. God forbid.
We used to go to a friend's house across.
Who parents pay.
Yeah. Like I remember the Who were on one night, and it was like they were only at this girl's house, and we all just like came in her house. We invaded her house to watch. The kids are all right.
Yeah, well, that's what made popular kids back then, right?
Yeah, right.
Who had the pay-per-view. Right. Go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're totally fine. So a lot of people, what they do is they will go ahead and they'll get Netflix or whatever, and they'll binge stuff for like a month, and then they'll drop it because of the expense for that. Now, I'm a big lover of Tubi, Tubi.
Yeah, I know Tubi is also pretty good.
And so it's commercials, just like you said. So you're sitting there, you're watching it for free, but the cost is that you're watching it with commercials. Amazon, there's commercials and a lot of stuff. If you watch The Penguin, you see this episode is brought to you commercial free by, I forget, it's a brand of alcohol, but they have their thing at the front of the thing, and that's why you don't have to sit and endure anything because they paid for that. So it's like buy our bourbon or whatever it was that they make. So I mean, you get that.
By the way, just to plug in iShook.tv, our goal in iShook.tv and iShook itself is when you watch videos, you get to earn each movie. You get to earn by watching a movie. So you as a user, you get paid with our cryptocurrency that you can then redeem in our e-commerce store for discounts on products you would buy anyway in an Amazon shop or another shop. So we want to reward people, and the way we make money on this is very simple. Now we can go to these advertisers and say, listen, we can guarantee you eyeballs watched. We can guarantee you potential sales because now the percentage is not, we're not selling impressions anymore. We're selling real eyeball views. Like this person watched a full movie. We know that he watched the full movie because he just got paid $100 worth of crypto that he can now redeem in e-commerce, and he claimed that crypto. So there's a whole like litany thing, and this is going to come out Q3, Q4 of this year.
How long is this movie that they're getting paid $100 for, Ben? I mean, you're on a roll,
it's just
again, I'm like, that's an example and a half.
No, that's just an example. Let's say you watched 5-10 movies, and you can earn that amount. Yeah, you can earn that amount, especially if you can comment on the movie and show that there's activity. Like give people instant gratification for watching. And most of these companies are not going to do it because their business model doesn't follow the way we're running the market. But yeah, that's the benefit. I mean, like whatever you're saying, I'm with you. I mean, that's for sure. Like Tubi, all these things, they're good platforms, but they're not really reaching out to the majority of the American public. I mean, that's straight up.
My buddy who I work with on tons of stuff, 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀, he gave up everything he's got now is through YouTube. And I said, and so I was like, Kevin always tries the new stuff. I said, well, a year later, how's it working out? Because it's the same bullshit. I mean, it's the same bullshit as having DirecTV. We have DirecTV. See, because we have worked from home. My wife works from home. I work for 20 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we have it set up. So we've got Xfinity for the internet, something else for this, because if something goes down, which it has, we jump on the other person's stuff only because and it's happened.
Yeah, I do the same thing, by the way.
But he said it's like you have the same fucking problems that you have with all the with all the.
You're always gonna have a problem because you're depending on one network.
Yeah. So,
but I think T-Mobile did the best move where they just made a whole deal with Elon Musk's Starlink, so they have a system where it can automatically catch to the Starlink system, which is like literally
awesome. I did not know
15, 16. It was put in the Super Bowl. It was like a whole ad. And it was also announced pre-Super Bowl.
I don't watch the Super Bowl.
No, the commercial. Everyone,
yeah.
the commercial not exclusive to the Super Bowl.
I eat the food and laugh with my cousins, and they laugh at me because I don't know what the hell's going on. My wife does. She goes, "Yeah," and I'm like,
yeah, by the way, I don't watch the Super Bowl, but I follow it like here and there. It was very annoying, very boring. It wasn't like last year.
Well, if you lived here, if you live in our area, it was the most exciting thing since the creation of man. The Eagles won, and we're South Jersey, so we're basically Philly. I hate saying that. Anyway, but that's in this area. That's life.
Well, because they won. Why not? It's a team that won. Sports is life. Okay.
Area. That's
better be sports than whatever else could be.
Yeah, down here it's go Vols.
But I'm just saying that's the
go Vols
culture. You don't want to piss off a Philly fan, you'll wind up in a hospital.
I don't piss off no fans.
No,
anyone who asks, I'm a fan of their team always.
But
what's your team? I'm a fan.
Yeah, exactly. Sure, love them.
Yeah.
But anyway, but so I mean. Anymore. One of the things I would say that one of the good things is I feel like now for me it's easier to roll with different things. Like I'm not going to get stuck. I used to have I gotta do this project next, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. I just kind of roll with stuff now, and like I'm going to write whatever I'm going to write. If they're shorts, they're shorts. If they're Halloween girl stuff, again, fine. But it's like, I don't worry it to death anymore because I know that number one, people have liked the people that have gotten the stuff have liked it, and it's the same kind of style. And to me, hopefully it'll find a home. I would love to wind up in. I'm a fan of Shudder. I love the Shudder magazine. I think it's great because it just reminds me of the old Warren stuff. You know what I mean? So I sent some stuff off for the first time. I would love that, but to me, that's a way, in my own way, to try and. I could get into something like that because that's over in Barnes and Noble. You can pick that off, every month. What great distribution, and that would lead back to the books that I've already put out. That and so that's kind of anything that leads back to what is it? 4 books, I guess, when the new one comes out in March. So 4 books. Anything that leads back to that, is good. So
it's definitely good. Barnes & Noble, by the way, is now opening 60 new Barnes & Noble stores in the country.
That's some good news because everybody else is starting to close down a whole bunch of stores.
Well, I mentioned 2013, 2014 Barnes & Noble's when the ebook world was going big, like it was a craze, and then these stores started to close down because of the ebook push.
I know what you mean.
And then what happened now is a lot of people are now pulling away from ebooks more. And buying more hard copies now because you have all these individuals like pushing their books like top seller, and we're talking about hard copies, right? Like it's become a new fad, and like all these big players are writing books and getting published.
People realize they like both. I'm both. I have Kindle full of stuff, and I've got books, as you can see, all over. I think if you love books, period, it's hard to get away from holding a book. You know what I mean? But if I didn't have a Kindle, I wouldn't have anywhere to move. You know what I mean? That's my problem. And I think I kind of try and split it up, but I think people will never give up wanting to have a physical copy of a book.
No, I don't think so. I think it was, I thought maybe it would be, but now
I did too.
But now I'm thinking, no, it's coming back to hard copy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it's coming back to hard copy.
Plenty of time at Barnes and Noble. I mean, that's like one of the family trips. Everybody loves to read. So
I always said, by the way, discoverability in a bookstore is much better than in an actual screen. Your real estate in a screen is not as big as a bookstore. Right. You can see with your eye from like literally 10 feet away. Wow, I like that book. I'm gonna see let me see the cover. Oh, I think I know this. I want this book. You know,
Totally
I
cool.
bought so many books when they were like the $4.99. Pick it up now. You know, discounted clearance sale of a book. So many great books I bought on that level. I mean, and you would never bought it. Like, wow, like I always wanted to know how the Greeks dressed. Let me get this book about the Greeks, you know, or I always wanted this book about the aircraft carrier. Wow.
Yeah.
But you don't even think about that on Amazon. I'm not thinking about aircraft carriers on Amazon and looking for it.
Nope.
But when I'm in an Amazon bookstore, yeah, I'm going to pick up about 10 books right now.
Well, I will say, one of the things that I have done to promote the books, and they've been like giveaways. The original Blob was shot in Phoenixville, PA, and the theater over there still exists, the Colonial. Well, they show some of the best damn movies, like the Spanish version of Dracula from 33,
That's awesome.
All that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so we got to be friends over there with them, and basically would sponsor some of those things in October, and as the book was coming out, do a giveaway. You know what I mean? After they get to meet people. To me, that's that's where my people are. You know what I mean? They're horror fans. They're classic horror fans, and they're all ages too. That's the best part. I mean, they're old guys like me, and they're young kids with tattoos like everywhere, and hair, and I'm in heaven when I go do that stuff, because it's great to interact with them. Now you talked about how you can't find anything, and on the internet. You know what that's like? That's like these damn conventions. Now you, sir, have been going to plenty of conventions. Don't you find like it's like you get? I mean, like you're lost in this jungle, depending on how big the convention is. I mean,
I've never been to Dragon Con. Now we had talked about that before. It's huge. It's like 3 hotel things. But no, I mean, I've been to Scares at Care and some stuff like that, and they're super nice, and people are really interactive and all that, and it's awesome stuff. Did you see the new Nosferatu movie? Incidentally,
yes, yes, I did.
Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Where were you?
Here's the thing, because I was very psyched to see this movie. For months, I wanted to see this movie. Now, there's plenty I have good to say. I thought great cast, the art direction, brilliant. I loved it. But all Eggers did was take the original and tack it on to the Penny Dreadful storyline at the end. He didn't. It was kind of lazy. The story, I thought, was it was like they did it better in Penny Dreadful, and I just that really disappointed me, because I thought he could have gone and done a more ambitious story, and it just felt like he glued together the original with Penny Dreadful, and Eva Green's thing where she's the devil's daughter, basically. It's and that disappointed me.
He wants her to marry him in the series Penny Dreadful. Yeah.
And I just felt like it was just the
Satan
same.
And Dracula brothers and all that. Have you ever seen?
She had to give herself in order to save the world, basically, and it was a similar thing in the Nosferatu.
I loved the series Penny Dreadful, and I hated it that they canceled it and they just like cut the ending. They had built and built and built and built, and it's like, this series has to end. Just kill her right now. Out of nowhere. The interpretation that they had of Frankenstein's monster was so much like the original book.
Oh,
I just loved it.
I absolutely love it. Remember we were talking similar to Penny Dreadful when Hammer did Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. It's very similar. It brings in Jack the Ripper. It brings in it's just like a bunch of different horror stories kind of like together. It's really it's one to check out if you haven't. It's grown in popularity. It used to just be a drive-in thing when I was a little kid.
I've never seen it. Yeah,
it was early 70s. Yeah, it was early 70s, because I remember being on Christmas vacation and I'd see the commercial everywhere. You know what I mean? But it's actually a pretty good flick, well written. You know what I mean? Very cleverly written, and it reminds me of Penny Dreadful.
Yeah, but no, I thought that Johnny Depp's daughter did nice for her role and everything. Did you know that she was in Yoga Hosers?
No.
That she is the good friend in Yoga Hoses, and I recently watched that, and it's a stupid movie, but it's entertaining. Benny, there's a Nazi living underground in Canada. He was a Canadian Nazi. He had moved there, and he has these, and they have a power outage, so it causes his army to become premature, and they're made of like bratwurst, so they're called bratzies, and the girls use the power of yoga to stomp them into the ground and have sauerkraut going everywhere.
Wow.
Yes. So, you know.
Well, she's come a long way.
Wow.
Yeah, but she was the friend in that because it's like I saw something and I'm like, let me see what all she's been in, and it's like that is her. It's like I didn't even and you don't even recognize Johnny Depp in that, where he's like that French guy and he doesn't even look like himself.
I love him. I still love him to death. I think he's great.
He's a great actor.
You didn't even say whether you liked it. Did you like it?
What? Which one?
I thought that it had some good.
The new one, the remake.
The Nosferatu. I thought that it had some good points to it. You know, I really like the original and everything. I like the carriage and everything. I'm a Bram Stoker's Dracula fan too. My favorite Dracula movie is The Last Voyage of the Demeter that came out recently.
That was really good. I saw that last summer. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought that was really good.
And he has that look. He has that Nosferatu kind of look. He's in between, like a half human thing.
I thought overall, I thought that was overall it was stronger because they stuck to this. It was a cutting from Dracula, and I just thought they opened it up, and I thought it was. I just think Robert Eggers is better than remakes, you know, of classic stuff. Now, and it's kind of weird that people remake Nosferatu at all. I mean, it's a great movie. I like it, but it's like, let's face it, it was a ripoff to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, it's just weird that people want to remake it. The original, you can't touch the original. I mean, as far as the way it looks and the vibe or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I guess it's been so. I guess he made enough money that he could do it. It was probably a passion project, but.
People mess things up though all the time. I hated how Benny. I need my spoiler alert hat on, but I don't have it. But everybody just go with it. I hated how in the series Bates Motel they didn't stick to the script and have him kill his mother by poisoning her tea, like he notably did in the entire movie franchise. Right. In the movie franchise, she took vanilla in her tea, which, by the way, is why I drink vanilla in tea. It does taste good. Because I'm like, I wonder how that would be, because I like vanilla. It's really good, vanilla in tea. All right. Anyway, so his mother always took vanilla in tea. Instead, he switched it with strychnine, but they don't have that in the series. She dies another way, and it's technically not him. She has the gas going through the vent. She's trying to kill him and he survives, and she dies. And they did that, and they ruined it.
I used to be a big Psycho fan, but I didn't get. I thought the second one, I thought the sequel that they made in the 80s was really good. I liked that a lot, actually. I never got to the third one. I just kind of like it. Just all just got away.
What happened? The third one was not that bad. The fourth one was like weird.
Yeah, they made 4, didn't they? Oh my god!
The fourth one was a bunch of flashbacks and everything, and it shows some woman like going to bed with him and all that, and he's this real awkward kid, and it's like him messed up, and it's kind of doing prequel-y things. And then after that, they did like the Ghost of Norman Bates, and it was like how the house was haunted. And so that's where they went with all of that. But that was a lifesaver to Anthony Perkins because he wasn't doing well financially, and that helped him to do these remakes, which were just cash grabs.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I did watch some of the series, and it was. I didn't buy it as a series. I just didn't. I thought it was. I thought the acting was well done. I just thought. It just felt like long and drawn out. We all know how things are going to go. You know, it didn't keep me on the edge of my seat. It wasn't like a Twin Peaks, like what's going to happen next week. You know what I mean? I didn't feel that way. You know,
Yeah, because they didn't create these products to be a series. If you create a product not to be a
that's
series,
exactly what I mean.
Yeah, then you're not going to look at it as a series.
Right.
But if I knew from the get-go I'm going to watch episode 1 like Lord of the Rings, I'm going to have an intermission, and it's going to number 2 is going to come out, and number 3 is going to come out, then I'm prepped for it. I know that this is going to be it, right? Like I got to see the whole sequence,
so,
right?
Richard, let me just come to you like this, and I know you're not like the religious leader one of it. That's the us two here, but you write Halloween Girl. Would you have Norman Bates and his mother in heaven? Because that's the way that Bates Norman Bates goes to heaven. That's the way that they end it, because he dies and then they hug each other in the woods, and it's like supposed to be this happy ending, like, hey, we made it, and it's like, well, where's Jeffrey?
I don't see it. If it were me writing it, no, they would not be going to heaven. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just saying to Lynn last night, I said, if you notice, but she goes, you're all about justice, like basically all about the bad guys getting it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do this thing. And it's true. I just get all my frustrations out, like, with, and it's good for me. I mean, I was thinking about taking a break from writing. And now I'm like, no way. No, it's keeping me sane.
I think a lot of series, they don't stick the landing at the end. Smallville was great for the first few seasons, and then it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And then there was this buildup that they were going to have 𝗪𝗏𝗏. This is Superman before he's like Superman, and they were going to have 𝗪𝗏𝗏 and all in it. And it was like, did they run out of money? I mean, it was like that kind of an ending where it's just like, this is terrible. Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher, and their Superman and Lois thing. The ending of that was absolutely terrible. Somebody just kind of like leaves a baby with them, and it was weird. This new Superman, Lois and Clark thing had a happy ending. Superman actually dies in it. They go to heaven and all that, but I think everybody's cool with Superman. What's that?
Thank you for telling me. I didn't see it yet.
Dude, it's been.
I only watched the first 2 seasons, and you do it again. Wear your hat, bro. Wear your hat, brother. Wear your hat.
It was a fulfilling ending of it. It was
so an alien from outer space, all of a sudden, is either Judeo-Christian, all of a sudden, that he goes to heaven in the show, right? Okay. An alien from Krypton, all of a sudden, has this heaven and hell kind of. Do me a favor, guys. Honestly, I don't buy that nonsense. By the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think a Kryptonian is going to believe in heaven and hell. Side point,
Dude, he's went up against demons and all kinds of stuff. Superman.
Yeah, that's neither here or there. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever definition demons are. Okay. Anyway, listen, we got to close it up already. It's already almost an hour. I appreciate Mr. Wilson for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Anyway, always come back again. We want to make things happen. Here's his QR code. Here's Ben's QR code is right here. Guys, look him up. Look in the descriptions. We're gonna have a lot of stuff there, and we're gonna potentially, guys, remember all those who are watching now, and we're gonna promote the hell out of this. We're doing competitions and codes for people to win prizes by watching our shows all throughout our iShook networks.
Hey, Benny. I just want you to take a minute just to reflect now on what we've learned today. That Superman and Norman Bates are both in heaven. maybe they'll have a team up.
Okay. I don't think Superman can die. The whole premise of Superman is he can't die, but that's a side point. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
And I'm not going to tell you. You'll wonder how he dies.
I don't care how he died. It doesn't matter anymore. I'll watch it myself. I'll read it online.
You got to go all the way to the end to see what happens.
You should write 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗶 spoiler report.com. And then you can create your own blog. People who don't want to watch the movies can just read the spoiler reports.
Doomsday rips out his beating heart, and he gets it.
I already saw that.
Father-in-law's heart.
Okay, whatever that means. Okay, anyway,
an old man's heart, a human, not a Kryptonian.
Okay, that's the worst. That, by the way, that is what we call the worst story. That Doomsday is able to rip Superman's heart. That's the biggest nonsensical story I ever heard. No comic ever showed Doomsday ever to be able to.
No, he was gonna kill him in the Death of Superman if he didn't get killed.
Death of Superman, he kills him, but can't rip his heart off. I mean, if Doomsday can rip his heart off, that means he's not the Man of Steel anymore. That means you just made the Doomsday gimmick.
Oh,
So I tell you that. You just killed the whole gimmick and the whole punchline of Superman, Man of Steel. No bullet, you know, like what is that? That's nonsense.
It was a different timeline. When he wasn't the Man of Steel.
In previous timeline, he cannot be called. Yeah, today we can't call him a man, apparently. He has to be vulnerable. He has to be, you know, whatever nonsense.
You know, in All-Star Superman, he gets cancer.
Well, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he gets cancer. So the sun, so the man who needs radiation every day gets cancer. Does that make sense? Think about that.
I'm not
the man who gets solar radiation literally every day, that's his life source, gets cancer. So does that make any sense? That's the biggest. I'm telling you, the people who are writing this have to be so impractical. Like, he gets cancer. He's literally in the sun every day with radiation. I mean, you're killing all the cancer cells.
Like blown into it virtually.
He was literally in the sun. He goes to space in the sun. He basks.
You got to work on a Superman stand-up because this is gold.
Yeah, well, this will definitely get viral. All right. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you coming. Mr. Wilson, you must come again. Ben, please schedule it again. We gotta get everybody back on board. We gotta have more conversation.
Kindred spirits. If you had a beard going on, I would be confused.
Now, my English Irish roots won't let me grow anything up. You know, it looks pathetic.
It's like a little stubble over here.
Yeah,
really bad.
I knew this preacher who told me that he tried to grow a beard, but he was Apache. He said I'd have Apache here and Apache there.
Apache here, Apache there. Gotcha.
That's kind of where
not as great as my joke with Superman and cancer. Anyway, guys, be well. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Appreciate
you guys. Thank you so much again, and